shamanism. It's a very interesting story, so I'd like to share it. I don't know if I've ever just shared this story, and it was so close to, it was so close to what happened this time of year, many years ago when we first moved here. So it was around this time of year. Me and my dad lived together at the end of the world. Not able to communicate with my children. Now I don't even know where they are. Basic shitty marriage gone. Full shitty. If you get with somebody and you fight with them, you know, you might hurt them. It happens. I hurt somebody that you love, you endeavor not to do something like that again. If you have it in you. Some people don't have that. They're gonna hurt you. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and they're gonna lie. So this is an introduction to the point of view. I'm only saying what I know and remember to be true. I'm sure there's also another side of the story that my ex has, and I don't wish any ill upon her. That's not why I'm saying that. Just saying we could have done better, and in the opportunity to heal, we did not make use of it. Either we let other people make our decisions for us, or we failed to come together per our agreement and honoring of our marriage. I think she retains her name, but she's in a lot of programs. I mean, MK Ultra like a motherfucker. And it's not like you can just point someone out for having MK Ultra. If you have notice of that, you're going to have receiving programs. So you have to get to work. If you can immediately say that, you've immediately got shit to do about it for yourself. That being said. So what happened was, this lady friend of my dad's comes over. Her name, we'll call her Stevie. Stevie had long been the companion of a guy that just died named Cowboy. Now, Cowboy was the guy who always wanted to borrow your guitar. He played music you didn't like, and he always wanted to borrow your guitar with some promises of this and that and the other. No is the answer to that. Well, she doesn't have him, it's just her, but she brings, what does she bring? She brings her man-child, this 15-year-old boy that's probably 250 pounds bigger than me. And she's kind of like a witch. I'm not going to say that I noticed anything witchy about her, but she's one of those, her attention and her focus and her energies are all aimed like guns in unison in the wrong places. She comes in the door, and this is what she says. "Who didn't bring my Whopper a turkey?" That's literally what she said. She didn't have a turkey. Side note, she didn't have a turkey herself. So I'm like, what in the fuck is this? So this is the spirit that comes over on Thanksgiving. Now we're experiencing the holidays from the Antichrist perspective. That means in the time when everything's inverted. Because it began then. That was my entry into that phase of existence. So she comes in, she brings her boy, and she's jonesing the shit out of this kid. You know, pointing at him and telling him this and that and the other. You need to do this. Do you want this? I mean, like a machine gun. And the boy's standing right at the edge of the carpet where the kitchen and the living room meet, and he starts swaying a little bit. Now, I don't know what caused me to notice that and engage him, but I took him outside and I walked with him down to the river, and he seemed fine. Then, you know, walking and breathing. But, you know, I started sharing some of my own story with him. And I told him, I said, you know why your mom's like that, right? And he's like, what do you mean? I like, well, she's all up in your shit. She's got to control everything. Like, the thing with witches is they don't... I mean, I'm talking about the bad ones. I'm not talking about Earth. You know, I don't have any problems with witches that are natural Earth believers, whatever. That I kind of dig. It's like she's got control issues. You're a facet of her, so she's going to try to control every fucking thing you do. That's why she's, you know... And I told him, I was like, and you're 15. You're from the Jewish law, you're practically a man. You are a man past your bar mitzvah. And I explained to him, showing him how you step. I was like, see, I'm a man. I step into this square, and I'm in it, and it's the space I'm in. And it's up to me as the man to say, this is the space I'm in. It's safe. I'm safe. If you're in the space with me, you're safe. It's like, it doesn't seem like much, but that's the way our psychology is set up. That's what they want us to do. And it's not like a bad thing. But if you're not aware of it, if no one ever connects those dots at your milestones, and he was past his milestones. He was 2 years past his, you know, go into the woods and become a man journey. And he seemed to get it. He nodded his head. Now, we came back inside of the house, and everyone's talking, this and that and the other. And he stood right in front of the window where I would stand at my kitchen sink and seized up. This boy fell flat on his face, 90 degrees, flat to the floor, heavy as hell. We all rustled up to pick him up off the floor and put him in the chair to see if he was okay. And this boy is laughing. And I said, you got it, didn't you? You got what I was saying? And he was like laughing. He's like, yeah, I did. And he doesn't have a mark on him. No bloody nose like you would expect. Not a mark at all. Oh, and his mom was pissed. She thought I did something to him. And maybe I did. I brought him through that milestone. And did he go through a different dimension and flip the realities? I think so. I think that's what happened. I think it was a sort of a way that timelines are maybe jumped, or new realities are entered into. They say it's a 90-degree turn. And I tell you that was a 90-degree turn that we took right there with him. And that may be something to consider. I don't know. But it began my looking at these holidays for what they are during a time when Christmas has gotten so commercialized. And it has nothing to do with Jesus. We got Easter and the bunny. What the fuck's that got to do with Jesus? That's Ishtar. So as you can see, we're clearly at the blending point where even our celebrations have no holiness. So what is the holiness of the holy day? Well, I began to take it like this. I began to take the holiness of the day that I would put in there. I'd find a way to separate and place this holiness, this whole, and then began to string them back together like a pearl. So now here we are at year 2020. All-time high for that. But why it got me into shamanism wasn't because I worship nature spirits or am denying my God, my fundamental religion. It's because I've always been a person who, using consciousness and studying consciousness, try to find a new approach to engage people, to show them something of their self that they didn't see, and I could show them. Because number one, I'm holotropic. I've got a different sort of brain setup. I don't perceive things linearly. I like perceive in a hologram. They tested me for this when I was in 10th grade. I don't remember how or why. Oh, I know how. It's because another friend of mine that I went to Cub Scouts with and had a lot of classes with, he said, I think you're like me. I I said, but you'd have to take, he's like, but you'd have to take this test. I don't know what test it was, but I know that I took it and I was. And so that's the story. So now it's 2020. You've heard about hindsight in 2020. So we're approaching that Antichrist season where things of the Bible are going to start happening. And I hate that people can take the Bible so literally that they dismiss taking it figuratively or symbolically at all, which I think is another error. Like when you try to autocorrect on the road and you end up in the ditch, it's because normally you overcorrect, and that's what people do. It's what we all do. So once you're aware of what you do and you know the self, then you can navigate and not be fearful and discouraged, because you can let the best you that there is come out. So that's why I got into